Hello again, beautiful artists, and welcome back to another episode of Paint Along with Skye. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Skye and I post beginning level acrylic painting tutorials here on YouTube every Saturday. So make sure to hit subscribe so you can join the fun and paint along. And don't forget to hit the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. Alright, so this week the holiday season is well underway, and I had a request a couple weeks back to do a Halloween meets Christmas tutorial. So this is what I came up with, which is a charming pumpkin snowman. It's going to be really simple. I'm going to take everyone through it every single step of the way. I have my 4 brushes that I use for most of my classes. These guys come in a kit that I recommend. This is the relative sizes that you need, but it's okay if it's a little bit different. I have a 3/4 inch wash brush here, as well as a size 10 pointed brush, and then 2 small detail brushes in a size 3 and a size 3/0. Gonna get those in my water cup off the side of the screen. The colors that I have to start with, I just have some of my gorgeous phthalo green here, as well as some black and white. To see a full materials list of everything that you need, check the description box below, and also pinned in the comments, you'll find the colors that you need for today's tutorial, as well as a materials page on my website that'll break down everything that you need and I recommend for painting along. All right, let's go ahead and jump on in. So we're gonna start simple as can be now with our large brush, and we're just gonna mix up a background color. Simple as it gets with the backgrounds today, because we're just doing one solid color, and I'm gonna mix up a toned down green. So I'm gonna take this gorgeous phthalo green, one of my favorite colors, turquoise, a little bit of water in there. Gonna add a little bit of white and a little bit of black until I come up with a nice kind of foresty green. So you'll notice if you just add this green with white over here, you get a pretty turquoisey color, which is a nice minty color, but I'm going for more of like the true forest green. So I'm using black and white to tone things down. So that's what it's called when you add gray. So you're creating a tone. And we're just going to now load our brush up with paint. And once we have the color that we like, we're going to fill our whole canvas in with this sort of Christmas tree color. All the way across the canvas. A little bit of water in the paint to help it go nice and smooth and soak into your canvas. I'm using a canvas board today. Those boxed canvases work well. The boxed canvases and canvas boards that you'll find at art supply stores are pre-primed, so we're just getting this soaked into that nice primed canvas. That was a little bit too much black, probably. Looks pretty good still. Okay, we'll see if I have enough green here. I think I might need a little pinch more. Okay, just a pinch more green. Want to get a nice solid coat of my forest green. Not going necessarily for a streaky look today. Sometimes that does look nice. Today though, I'm just pretty much going with a solid color. All right. All filled in, bringing my brush stroke all the way off the sides of the canvas so that it's nice and consistent-ish. There's no such thing as perfection. And this is just the first coat, but let's go ahead now and let this layer dry completely. and we will come back and add a whole bunch more. All right, I'll see everyone in a few. Okay, welcome back, artists. We have a completely dry, beautiful forest green background and a whole bunch of fresh new colors for the second part of today's tutorial. I have some more black and white, some more phthalo green, a little bit of cadmium yellow, some burnt sienna warm brown, a little bit of cadmium orange, and a little bit of purple, aka violet. I rinsed my brushes and got some fresh water at break as well. Let's go ahead and jump back on into things. I also have a circular item from my kitchen again today, which I've brought into a few of my tutorials because it just happens to be the right size, which is a lid to a little cooking pot that I have, which is going to be the right size for the bulb that our cute little snowman-o lantern is going to be inside of. So depending on the size of canvas that you use, you may need to find a bigger circular item, and this can be really anything. In the past, I've used candle lids or like little dishes. A lot of times the kitchen will have circular things of different sizes, so pause the video if you need to and find something that is the right size for your canvas. And I actually want to start by blocking out where our bulb is going to be with our circular thing here. I'm going to use my second to smallest detail brush, and I'm going to put it right where I want it to be. And we're going to go further down rather than center it because we're going to have that little connector bit up top for it to connect to the branch. So let's take a little bit of white on our brush, and I'm just going to go around my lid, tracing out the circular shape. And I can lift it up, and we don't need to come back in and solidify that line yet. Right now we're just going to leave that right as is, but we can see now how we can sort of build our frame of greenery around it. So let's now jump in with our greenery. I'm going to use that same brush, and first I'm going to do the little branches with some burnt sienna mixed with a little bit of white. And our little connector is going to come from the center of our circle. So we want to go probably about halfway here with our brown branch. I'm going to do a little curved branch that goes across the top part there of my canvas. And I actually want this to be a pretty thin line, but I'm going to thicken it up a little bit, solidify it a little bit with just a few passes of this warm brown. Super simple. All right. And then that's our main top branch that our bulb is hanging off of. But I'm going to do a few little side branches. I'm going to do one right here, and then one right here, and one more coming down this way. Because again, I'm thinking about like framing this, which I'm also going to do another little branch coming down this way and down this way to complete that frame. That branch got a little thick, but that's okay. We do want to go a little bit skinnier with our branches for these smaller guys. Sort of trail the line off. Great. Blocked things out. Now let's start to add the greenery. I'm going to mix up a different shade of green than what we used before. So before we were just using our phthalo green with black and white. Today I'm going to add, or with this hue of green, we're going to add yellow. That's going to make it a different shade, different hue. And I'm going to add a little bit of white to that too and mix up a nice sort of grassy green. And I'm going to go from the points here and then on either side and work my way down my little brown branch that I just created. Either side, a little flick of the wrist, and you can either go from the branch out or from the outside in to meet the branch, whatever feels more comfortable with you. It tends to be a little bit easier sometimes to trail off your brush stroke, make it skinnier by going from the branch outwards. But whatever works for you is fine. I'm going to come back in here and make these a little bit longer. And then there'd probably be some that come off the edge too. Make sure that you can see the difference on your green background. Okay, and for this whole step, we're just going to add all of these diagonal brush strokes coming from the center and going outwards. There could be some areas of overlap, like in this top area right here. And that's okay, just create it how it makes sense. It's okay if some brush strokes overlap. It kind of adds to the scruffy pine feel. All right, and make sure to go a little bit skinny so that you still have some space here for the top part of your ornament. That's where we hung our bulb that my little imaginary mind's eye camera has zoomed into. All right, these are looking very festive. I like this step. This is a time-consuming part though, so take your time, but it's important. Our jack-o'-lantern is pretty easy. Jack-o'-lantern snowman. One last jack-o'-lantern painting for the year. I did a couple this year. I've done quite a few for the channel over the years. All right, looking good. Yeah, working though from the top down here. Now we have a nice little Christmassy frame around our big circle in the center. Okay, and last little area. Don't go too sparing in between your brush strokes. You want to have a nice full pine tree. You can always go back and add a few more if you feel like you need to. And then, rather time-consuming step, but we are going to add highlights now. We're going to mix up a lighter version of that same green by adding some yellow and some white. Don't want to go too light or too dark. We're going to come in here and do a quick little pass through all those same areas, but we don't want to completely cover all of our darker green. And we want things to sort of blend a little bit just on contact, which is wet on wet blending, which depending on where you live, could be challenging because the paint does dry really quickly. I live in an extremely dry climate, so you can see the paint dry before your eyes. Haven't always though. I live in the Southwest now, but I've also lived in the Pacific Northwest, which is very moist. And the dry time is very different. Probably takes about a quarter of the time for things to dry here, which I like as an acrylic artist, because with acrylic, it's all about layers. more so than it is about this sort of wet on wet blending. But we like to throw a little bit of that in too. But it's okay if it looks a little bit streaky. We just want highlights and lowlights. And just kind of festive Christmas colors and that full nice tree look. Gotta get a good Christmas tree. Very important. Okay. Do a few more over here. Like it? Looks good. All right, let's leave our greenery alone for a minute. We're gonna let it dry. We're gonna rinse our brush fully. And we're gonna go into our ornament, our little bulb here now. And this may be a little bit confusing, but we're gonna grab our white. I'm using that same brush. And first we're gonna do a little snowy base for our pumpkin stack. And then we are also going to block out our pumpkins in white too. And that might get a little bit confusing to see which area is which. But this is just the first part here. Then we'll come back with orange and make it nice and vibrant. But orange itself doesn't have very good coverage power. So I like to block things out with white a lot of times, with dark backgrounds especially, like today's. First, we're just gonna do the bottom part of our bulb with white. And this is gonna be the snow that our pumpkins are sitting on. All the way into your sketch line. Nice clean line. We don't want to see the fuzzy texture here of the canvas. We want a nice solid line for this part, since we have such a light white next to our dark green. All right, looking good. And now I'm just gonna do one pumpkin to start. So I have two curved lines, and then I'm just gonna kind of make it an oval and fill it in, but these are not going to be snow. This part will be the part with orange. So you might lose that line in between there. You can just kind of differentiate the two sections with how you're using your brush strokes. A little bit rounder. Nice clean line here again. I'm pretty caffeinated today, so that's easier said than done. Okay, just blocking out the shapes right now. And a second pumpkin on top of the first one. And then we will of course have our top pumpkin as well. And you want to have a little bit of space left on top so that we can give him a hat. Important. This top one can be more circular. A little bit oval still though. We're just filling it in with white to get that nice clean orange with our second coat. Great. Looks good. I'm going to grab a tiny bit of black and I was gonna sneak some purple in maybe too, but can't decide. Do like a purpley gray, or you could just use regular gray, but I'm going to do a little bit of shadow right where My pumpkin's bottom is sitting on the snow. You could also do that once it's dry though. As well. But that kind of helps me see the different areas as well. And just adds a little bit of interest down here in what would otherwise just be white. So just a few horizontal lines. I'm not getting perfect coverage with my white because it's such a dark background. So I'm gonna let that be for now and let it dry, and then I'll hit it with a second coat. All right, also with gray, but probably not purple, I'm going to do a silver little top part. I'm gonna go right in the center with a center line first. And then I'm going to create this kind of shape from there. Okay, and that's our little connector bit. Technical term there. I'm not sure what that's called. And then a little hook. We're gonna go around the top part of the greenery there. And then I'm gonna let the light brown actually be in between there so that it looks like it's actually hooked onto the greenery a little bit. All right. And we could even touch it up a little bit if we need to with some brown. There we go. Okay, this one's pretty simple. I'm gonna grab a little bit of dark gray too, so just another pinch of gray. And I'm going to do a few little brush strokes through there, and then on the inside there of our silver hook. And then I'll do the opposite with a light gray, highlights and shadows. And go in between there and on the outside edge. And then on the outside of the little hook. And that blended a little bit. So I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more gray over my white. Great. All right, looking really cute, honestly, with the snowman shape even. But we're gonna make it Halloweenified now. So let's add some bright light colors. This is a really fun step. I have a clean brush. I'm using that same small brush. This is gonna be the champion brush today. That kit comes with 4, so it really is up to you which brushes are your favorite to use, and it's okay to have your own style, have your own look, and your own preferences. I've added just a little bit of white into this bright orange, and I'm going to do a few little swirls. I'm going to start with just a little circle, and then I'm going to kind of swirl my way out a little bit, like a little storm, a little cyclone. And delicately, I'm going to come out, very light pressure on my brush. This is just kind of that first layer of glow. So we're going to have a brighter center, but that's going to be our sort of glowing orange light. And you can decorate your tree now however you like, and put some orange lights around. And then I'm going to put some purple in the same way. Those are, I think, the iconic Halloween colors. Great color scheme. Huge fan of Halloween and Christmas. My favorites. So why not have a Halloween tree? Very fun. Very delicate step. Very light brush strokes. And you can have however many you want. Let's see. I think I want one more orange one. Maybe right here. Okay. Great. And now, same steps with our gorgeous purple. Gonna add a little bit of white to my purple as well. Not to the point of where it's pastel. Still want it pretty vibrant, but it helps with the opacity because otherwise the purple would just be too dark and it would not show up well. Same steps here. Just start with a little circle and then whirlpool your way out from there. Wherever you like on your tree, wherever looks good and balanced. Cute. I think that's probably just the right amount of lights. Love it. All right. I think we need to step away just for a little bit before we come back into the inside here. And then we also need to give our cute little swirls a minute to dry too, so that we can brighten those guys up with a second layer as well. So let's take another short break and let this area dry, and we'll come back and finish everything up. All right. See everyone in a few. All right, we're back with the final touches. I'm going to grab my same favorite second to smallest brush, and I am going to get the orange onto my pumpkins. So I'm just gonna grab that orange. I don't even need to add any other color. You could add a bit of yellow if you wanted. Since we have this nice background of white, I kind of like just having a nice bright orange. And as you can see, just need now one coat of orange. It should have pretty good coverage power on top of the white. We want to try to get all of our brush strokes going in the direction of the pumpkin. So you kind of fill things in a little bit. Then you want to come back and get your brush strokes all go in the consistent direction within each pumpkin. It does matter. Every little brush stroke matters. And same idea for our middle pumpkin. And same idea for the top pumpkin too. Okay, just with the base color right now. Fairly simple. Again, getting those brush strokes going the direction of what will be the segments of our pumpkin. And if you go over the white edge a little bit, you'll see what I meant earlier about orange not having very good coverage power. You get some orange on your dark green. It's not very orange. Really transforms our snowman just to make them orange into pumpkins instead, all three. I experimented with a painting like this with just a pumpkin for a head, but I liked the three pumpkin look instead. Okay, very cute. I'm gonna grab a little bit of a dark burnt orange, which I'm just gonna add some of my burnt sienna right into my orange to get that. And I'm going to do a quick outline where my pumpkins meet at the top parts there. And then I'm also going to pull through my pumpkin a couple little segments in each one. like so. And along the outside edge as well. Not too much, and if you add too much brown, you can come back with a little bit of orange if you need to, and tone anything down. Just by covering some of your brush stroke, again with the orange. All right, it's always kind of a play with acrylic paints, back and forth with your colors. Great, and the top part too. Don't go too dark, especially with your top pumpkin and these little segments. So we're gonna add black, of course, for our jack-o'-lantern face. And you could also be using a smaller brush, I just realized, especially for this top one. We don't need to worry about doing a stalk at the top of the pumpkin because we're gonna have a cute top hat. Okay, cool. Gonna grab a little bit of that burnt sienna, warm brown to the side and create a little bit of tan again for the sticks for the arms. Coming from the middle pumpkin, we're just gonna do two little lines coming out from either side, just like you would in a snowman. Little details, and then we'll have little side branches looking like hands, of course. Got to get the right sticks for your pumpkin snowman. Okay, great. And you can add, let's grab our smaller brush for this. You can add a little bit of a highlight on there too. So again, I have my tiniest brush, and I just have a lighter version of that burnt sienna and white mixture. And these little details actually make a world of difference for paintings like this one. All right, cute. Also gonna add some quick highlights. I'm gonna try to find a clean spot on my palette here, and I'm going to mix up a light yellow orange with orange, yellow, and white. And I'll add a quick highlight in some of these areas as well, highlighting the middle parts of those pumpkin sections. And again, not too stripy. Grab some orange if you need to. Just subtle highlights and shadows leaning into that pumpkin shape. And I think I actually want to go a little bit more circular here at the bottom. So I'm just going to do a quick little tiny adjustment there. Add a little bit more of my shadow underneath there. And I still have my second to smallest brush. I'd like to add a little more shadow where my pumpkin is sitting on my snow, like we had before. I go just right along the bottom edge there. Actually don't want to blend the orange into the snow though. Just want to do a little bit of shadow. Great. Okay, we can add a top hat now as well. So cute. I'm gonna take black with just a little bit of white. I'm gonna use a gray. And for the top hat, we're just gonna do a little square with a line. Very simple. All right, and filling it all in with your dark gray. Home stretch here, folks. We just have a few little cute details to add. All right, let's leave our pumpkin alone for a minute as well. And we're gonna let that dry again. And we're gonna pop back around to our lights and finish those guys off. Let's grab a light purple first. I'm gonna go a shade lighter than I was going from before. And I'm gonna go back into that little center swirl. I'm going to add another lighter swirl that doesn't come out as far as the first one. I'm doing these little gradations to get that nice glowing look. And then I'm gonna grab just some white with a clean brush and add this really cute little sparkle. So the way that I do these is I'll go from the center up, then center down. Doesn't have to be in this order though. We're just gonna add a little plus sign. Like so. How cute is that? Really simple. So that's gonna be on top of your lighter color swirl. That went again on the inside. It's like Christmas for those of us that have astigmatism. Adds an extra little whimsical element. Gonna grab some light orange as well and do the same thing. And I did sneak a little bit of yellow in there too. Nice bright yellow orange. For our Halloween light glow. Second coat. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, a little bit of clean white left. And it's okay if it pulls through these colors a little bit. We're gonna kind of let that be to our advantage. Okay. Top up here. Sorry to block everything. Gotta get the right angle there with my hand for these dainty brush strokes. Okay, you can see it coming together here. And since it does blend a little bit, I'm not gonna go from orange over to purple. I'm gonna rinse my brush before I do that. I forgot a little purple sparkle for my purple. Okay, very cute. Great way to add Christmas lights. All right, looking good. Let's go ahead and finish off the outside edge here. Gonna use that same brush, but feel free to use a smaller one if you're a little bit more comfortable with that. And we're gonna try our hardest to stay along that circular line and have a nice clean line here for the outside of our bulb. Very delicate. Don't want to go too thick with the line. Feel free to use your smaller brush. We want nice skinny line here. And you could, if you needed to, touch things up a little bit with the base color from the beginning. But we want to try not to have to do that. All right, and then work my way all the way around, trying to find that clean white. All right, Not too bad. And we're gonna wanna go along the bottom too. Make sure that we get a nice clean edge, circular edge. Make sure to step away from your work. Sometimes, especially during steps like these, where you can get caught up doing these tiny little details and lose sight of the overall roundness of the shape. Okay, that looks good. I'm gonna grab a little bit of gray. And I'm going to do a quick little brush stroke here at the bottom on either side. It's a sort of shadow of the roundness of the bulb into the inner part of the snow. Last final couple details here, everybody. I'm gonna grab a vibrant purple. I'm gonna do a quick little scarf, so cute. And it might as well have little parts of our scarf coming down like a bow, so cute. Add to the festive look. And I came in there with purple, but since we're doing the Halloween theme, I'm gonna grab some black too. And actually, let's grab our tiny little brush for these tiny little details. And I'm going to do a quick outline of the purple. If your paint is hard to cover, you can always give this a second to dry too, but we're just going along the outside edge very delicately. We can do a little tie there in the middle. And I'm just very delicately outlining things with black, and then I'm going to add some black stripes as well. Okay, so the stripes, I'm gonna have them come from the bottom of the scarf just like so, and I think I'll make that center part black as well. Okay, cute. And then of course our final little details, same tiny brush, still sticking with black. And we're gonna do our little jack-o'-lantern face now. So I'm gonna start with the triangle nose, which is just gonna be a really simple, tiny triangle. We really wanna go small with this. Okay, and then we have two triangles for eyes. And those are also just gonna be triangles that are just on a little bit of an angle. Great. And then with the jack-o'-lantern, I like to usually start with this brush stroke right here for the smile. And then I'll do two little sort of like buck teeth on the top. And then there'll be one little buck tooth at the bottom in the center part. And then you just want to fill in the inside shapes. I know this is a tight little spot and a tricky detail. Cute though. Okay. And then, let's see, I'm gonna bring his hat just a little bit further down. How cute. And I'm gonna straighten it a little bit up top here too. And since we're doing a Halloween theme, I think I'll add a little festive A bit of purple. How cute. All right, and then I think with this teeny tiny brush, I'd like to add a few more little shadows in my pumpkin there at the base that I adjusted earlier. All right, pretty cute. And maybe even a few more with my tiny brush, gray shadow lines. Tiniest of brushes. Just a little bit right underneath the base pumpkin. So cute. Oh, and then a little black button detail is nice to add too, to sort of do a nod to the snowman inspiration. So I have 3 little dots. So cute. All right, very final touches now. I think I actually need a fresh piece of palette paper just for some white. So let me switch that out really quick. Okay, just a little bit of white is all we need for the final touch. Make sure you have a relatively clean brush as well. I'm going to use my medium-sized, this guy right here. And I'm going to make sure that it's fairly dry, still a little bit damp. And I'm going to come in here with my paint, and then I'm going to kind of scruff up my brush a little bit. Not to the point of where I would damage my brush, my darling brush, but so that the bristles are separated. And then I'm going to add a little whoop, shiny right through my bulb, like so. To add a little bit of shine, and then also with my second to smallest detail brush, a little bit more of a solid line. I can come in here and add a few more little white brush strokes. And with the back of the brush, a little bit of snow for some added whimsy inside of what would be perhaps a little snow globe ornament. And there we have it. If you painted along today, I would love to see your work. And I've created a Facebook group called the Art Club, where my students can do just that. And you can post whatever you've got going on in your studio and imagination. Doesn't have to just be paintings from painting along with me, but I love to see your work. It's the best part of my day. And that's free to join. You can check the description box below to take you over to Facebook so that you can join and post your work. Let me know what you thought of today's painting in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you. And that's all the instruction that we have for this week's painting. So I hope you enjoyed painting along. Happy Christmas, happy end of spooky season, perhaps? Is it spooky season year round? I don't know. Let me know in the comments section. And can't wait to see you over in the art club. And that's all for this week. So until next time, stay creative.